True, we're back for another episode. Today we are out of the A. We are in H-Town. We are in Houston. We have a special guest with us, born and raised here in Houston. I want to give him a chance to introduce himself. But before we do that, how you feeling, Vlad?
I'm doing good. Welcome back for another week's episode. Again, we're out here live from Houston, Texas, giving you guys an insight from a born and raised true die-hard Houston fan. I'll let him introduce himself.
Right. H-Town Chris on Clubhouse, or just Chris. Man, born and raised in Houston my whole life. A fan of all the Houston teams. Astros, Rockets, Texans. Went to college out here. I mean, I'm born and raised here.
What college you went to?
U of H.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's funny. We saw you guys' baseball team in the airport.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
nice university,
team.
by the way. Nice university.
Yeah. It's third war, man.
Oh, so you bleed that red, that Houston red for real. It's
sure,
in your blood.
Sure.
So, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, obviously born and raised from Houston, Texas. Is this a family inherited thing, or why you were a fan of all the Houston teams, or is it just because you live here and you just had to accept it?
No, man. Really, it's just a sense of pride. Maybe it's just me because my parents are Cowboy fans.
Oh, God.
And I hate the Cowboys, right? So
welcome to the club. We do too.
Yeah, man. So I don't know what just sparked in me. I just latched on to my teams. With the Oilers. I went to an Oilers game. I went to Oilers and Dolphins game, Dan Marino and Warren Moon, and when they left, it kind of left us in limbo. You bandwagon of whatever team is winning, but when the Texans came, I was all on board.
Okay, that's dope. So, I'm pretty sure you've been through the ups and downs with the Texans. How old were you when you guys first got your Texans team to it?
It was 2002. I was a senior in high school.
Okay. So how was it? How was like the city at that point when you guys got your first true NFL pro team?
If I can go back and remember, I know a lot of people were disappointed in the team name. Mm-hmm. We thought it was really corny. The logo was corny.
Yeah, I remember the first logo.
It was kind of like a bop. The colors were a bop off the Patriots, So it was some fans that were, kind of iffy about it. But I mean, that first game was against the Cowboys Sunday night. So you had all the Cowboy fans in the city, all the people that latched on to the Texans, and we beat them. Man, I'll never forget that.
I know you were talking trash that whole time.
Man, I had that recorded on VHS. I will never forget that moment, man.
That's what's up.
Oh, that's dope. So there's one thing, well, I know this, but if you could just tell the fan base for us. I know you're a true die-hard Houston Rockets fan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's people in our audience, or not audience, but our listeners, that got to see Jordan play, and some that didn't. Now, I know you told me, along with some other people in our Clubhouse group, this one statement that you always live by, that 95-96 season,
right.
If Michael Jordan never retired, what would have been the result?
I mean, me as a Houston fan, I think we beat them twice. But I think even if you, take the bias out of it, take your Jordan, because I think Jordan is a GOAT too, right? But if you take your bias out of it, I think we at least win one. I think the non-biased fan can say we at least split. Me personally, I think we would have won the 95 one for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the highlights. Akeem was a problem. Yeah. I mean, that dream shake was it's gonna put you in your dreams for real.
And you
know,
have
nightmares.
You've heard me mention this before. A lot of Jordan fans, he was there the second year.
That's true.
Granted, it was only 17 games, but he was there.
And he fell short. He got beat by the Magics, and he didn't get to see you guys. And you guys killed the Magics.
Yeah.
And in the finals. So
yeah,
it's always a asterisk, I guess you can say, of what really would happen. Yeah. I think you guys will split the series only because how dominant Akeem was during that time. I've seen what Akeem done to David Robinson. So Akeem was really was a problem. But, you know.
He made David Robinson look like a baby.
Yeah. He stole his MVP.
Yeah,
you know?
yes, for sure.
But just to say that you think someone would reel off 8 or 9 championships in a row, I just don't see
That's
that.
hard. That's the hard part I have with people. It's like, I know he got 6, but 2 more, and it's not like, I get it, Houston was a 6 seed when you guys won it, but
Right.
8 years of no injuries, no weird calls, no weird plays. You almost have to play at least 80% perfect. Like, that's hard. I don't care who you are. That's hard.
Yeah,
So,
think about Scottie Pippen had a migraine. That people
Exactly.
say that cost him a championship or beating Detroit because he had a migraine. It's little stuff like that can
Exactly.
stop you from
Yeah.
winning a championship.
that's for sure. But let's move
The
on.
higher you get into success, the more you're fighting yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you have more time to where your demons come out,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're trying to perfect your craft because you're like, okay, I've mastered a ton of things as it comes to outside of myself. Now I got to deal with up here mentally.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see that all the time, especially in sports.
That's true. But let's move on to the present time. I know we're still in basketball season, but NFL season just finished up. We're getting into the off season, and there's a big thing going on in your city, especially with your Houston Texans at your quarterback position. How do you feel about this whole Deshaun Watson situation that's going on?
Man, I'm so torn because as a Texans fan, we had Matt Schaub, right? Matt Schaub
Man, I remember.
he was good, you know, a couple of Pro Bowls, but we've never had a franchise top 5 quarterback in the league type of guy. So for him to want out, you know, it really rubbed me the wrong way. As a fan, you know, I just want to tell him, like, man, just go, get out.
Yeah, don't
But-
drag this on.
Right. But the other half of me, like I said, we may not ever get this chance again, you know, to have this type of quarterback. So
That's true.
part of me wants to keep him. Part of me just wants to say, man, Deshaun, get out, man. You know, but unfortunately, with this new situation,
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play this year. So we'll see.
Oh, so you don't even think he's going to touch the field for nobody?
I mean, we'll see what Goodell does, but
Yeah,
I don't
Pretty
know.
serious.
That's
It's
it.
pretty serious.
So-
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
That's true. So you guys lost D-Hop.
Yeah.
Well, gave away D-Hop.
Ask D-Hop, because D-Hop would say that he was forced out of there.
That is true to an extent.
Right.
J.J. Watt is gone,
Right.
and Deshaun Watson limbs.
Whoa, we're forgetting someone. Will Fuller's gone.
Will Fuller too.
Like a
Yeah.
lot of weapons walked
So-
out that door.
In a matter of 2 years, the Texans, you guys were maybe a game away, a game and a half away from the Super Bowl,
A half.
Yeah,
a half.
a half,
away.
literally a half.
And now 2 years later, you guys probably could be contending for a top 10 pick in next year's draft. You guys had D-Hop, Deshaun, Will Fuller, J.J. Watt, and now 2 years later, you guys got rid of D-Hop. J.J. Watt is gone. Deshaun Watson's on limbs, and Will Fuller's gone. So what is it going to take for the Texans to get back to a contending team? Like you just said, you know, getting Deshaun Watson, who's a top 5 quarterback in this league, might not come by anytime soon.
Right.
So what do you think, as a Texans fan, what is it going to take? Or is it a new coach, new organization, or is it never going to happen?
Well, of course, it all depends on Deshaun, right? So it's like a loaded question. If Deshaun is here, I think we're right back where we left off, you know. But if no Deshaun and we trade him, it depends on the assets we get back. You know, the Tua thing was floated around. I've seen some Matt Ryan scenarios. So I think if we get a quarterback that's ready to play right now, I think we'll be okay. Maybe not contender status, but being a contender. If Deshaun is not here, probably five years away, man. You know, I like the moves Caserio, our new general manager, is making. You know, he seems like they're changing the culture like pretty quick. So,
Dope.
yeah.
Okay. And then let's go to, I guess, 2 blocks away, the Toyota Center.
Yeah.
What's going to take for you guys to be relevant ever again in the NBA.
Wow.
Ever again, huh?
Now that you guys got rid of your franchise player, James Harden,
Right.
who's been with you guys for the past 8 years, who's now in Brooklyn. You guys 2 years ago were one game away from the NBA Finals, which I think if you guys did win, you guys would have won. I think you guys would beat the 2018 Cavaliers. And now you guys went and got Victor Oladipo, who obviously went to Miami. You guys got John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins, but I don't think DeMarcus Cousins is going to re-sign with you guys, personally, in my opinion.
You got Kelly Bird. He's not Kelly.
Yeah.
Olynyk.
He's not Kelly Olynyk. He's Kelly Bird. Because he wasn't doing nothing like that in Miami.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And then he went to the Rockets and started balling out.
Balling out.
Kelly
yeah.
Bird.
So the Rockets had literally you guys went from a deep playoff run team to now
Struggling.
a lottery pick.
Right.
What's going on with the Rockets? Well, are you guys ever going to recover from this, or is this going to be the start of a true rebuild?
Yeah, I think we're going through a rebuild right now, but the Rockets were actually playing some pretty good ball.
Towards the end,
before the injuries, Oladipo, Wall, when Christian Wood got hurt, that's when it really went down.
Christian Wood was hoping big for you.
Because he would have been the most improved player in my opinion if he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
I agree.
But yeah, hopefully we get this number one pick and we snap Cade Cunningham.
That's
think
what
he's
I was
gonna be
say.
number one?
That's what
Yeah,
I was
for
going to
sure.
say.
I think
For sure.
Jalen Green is going to be number one.
Over Cade? I prefer Cade, but I mean, if we get the number one pick, yeah, we're not going to be a contender, but I think we'll be right back in the fighting for that 9-8 spot.
That's
especially
tough.
with the playing games that they do.
The
now,
West is
so.
tough. You got
Yeah.
New Orleans, Golden State, San Antonio is going to be back. Memphis is on the rise.
Right.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. So it depends. I'm glad we dodged that Victor Oladipo bullet and he didn't
That's
sign
true.
with us because,
And Karis LeVert.
yeah. So that situation doesn't look good, but we get Cade Cunningham, man. I'm
It's a
on
good
board.
start. It's a good start.
I can't wait.
Ask the Atlanta Hawks how important it is to get a point guard. Although Cade he's not a pure point guard. He's a
like
shooting
two.
guard. Isn't he? He's a two.
Yeah.
A combo guard, but no, he's more of a two than
Well,
he is.
if John Wall stayed, they won't need a point guard.
No, I don't want him to stay.
You want John Wall to
I
go?
don't want John.
You don't want John Wall?
No.
What has been the issue? Do you think? Is it just his style of play is not?
He still has a speed. Obviously, he's not
Yeah.
as fast as he used to be. But man, if a point guard that can't shoot, I don't.
In
I don't
today's
really
game,
want
yeah,
him.
you're right.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. Today's game, you got to be able to shoot the three ball, especially at that position.
Yeah, for sure.
The point guards are deep. In the NBA
Cunningham does that at an exciting clip.
yeah, he can shoot.
For sure. But as I was saying with the Hawks, I remember when the Hawks drafted Trey, and I texted Vlad, and I was like, finally got one. Like, this is a building block. I mean, you had, what's the guy's name? John Collins the year before, but I can see the Rockets kind of following that kind of blueprint where you have these offensive youngins coming in that can really put the ball in the basket. Cade, I'd be excited to see him play because he can put a ball in the basket for sure.
And we had our run, man. It was 8 years in a row.
Yeah, every year y'all got better.
Yeah, we held the streak after the Spurs lost it, we got it. So I can't complain as a fan. Yeah, we didn't win it and we never made it to the finals, but when you're going up against a super team every year, it's hard to compete with.
That's true. Now, before we move on, I do want to ask you a question. Game 7, 2018 Western Conference Finals.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
27 in a row.
How? Y'all were the best three-point shooting team in the league. You guys were up 3-2. Going to your house. What happened? Or what was the feeling in the city? Because I truly believe you guys would have won the championship that year. You guys would have beat Cleveland.
Right.
And I know you guys haven't won. Last championship was, Hakeem. Hakeem with the back-to-back with Kenny Smith. So you guys are due for a championship in this city.
Yeah.
What was the vibe in the city? I know you as a deep sports fan. What were you thinking, or what was going through your mind in Game 7? How did you feel about that moment?
Oh man! So when Chris Paul went down, first of all, the city was rocking. You know, local radio was hyping everything up. You know, red everywhere. You know, but when Chris Paul went down, I'm a realist. You know, I'm not one of those. Oh, we're still gonna win. When he went down, honestly, I just turned the TV off. You know, I was like,
you said wrap it up.
It's
Time
a
to
wrap,
go.
man.
Dang.
So, you know, game 6, Harden goes out there and he's just killing it. We take a big lead, and then Harden gasses out and we lose. Game 7, big lead, jump out. Now we start missing all of these threes, 27 in a row. And Kevin Durant, he said it perfectly in the interview. You know, we let James do what he do. We knew he would get gassed, and we put our foot on the gas and take off. It was a wrap. It was very frustrating because, you know, they're playing with our hearts, but we're blowing them out both games without Chris Paul, and they just blow it, man.
And I think you guys, that was the year for you guys to beat Golden State. I think even at the beginning of the season, I said Houston's going to beat them.
Right.
Houston's going to beat them. And I'll be honest, I had money on you guys.
How much did you lose?
Well, I didn't do it for the series. I did it by game.
Oh, okay.
So game 1, I think you guys lost in Golden State. That's when Harden was chirping about everybody coming into his shooting pocket. And that game was close. And then the rest of the games I did by game purpose. But so I didn't really like lose per se. But in totality, I did have you guys win the whole series at the end. But obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, that Western Conference Finals, it was one, at least in the past 3 years, one of the most, and neither teams are my team, neither teams are, I could say, you know, I didn't care who won. I mean, granted, I did want Golden State to lose, but literally every game you was at the edge of your seat because you did not know what was going to happen. But I did like to pick up Chris Paul, who was also my favorite point guard. Coming to Houston, I think, you know, the style play you guys had, that very up and down play, even though he was much older, but he looked like he fit right in. He executed you guys' offense, got you guys started early. But what I like better about it is Harden didn't have to take the rebound and come down and initiate offense. There's times where, you know, you guys can give Chris Paul the rebound.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, give the ball to Chris Paul after the rebound, and then James Harden after half court would pick it up and then, you know, get the offense going. But now that Chris Paul's gone and Harden's gone, I think it's going to take a little time for you guys to get to that level, to be honest with you. Houston was at, I'll say, the best I've seen Houston, even when T-Mac and Yao was here.
Right.
You know, I haven't seen Houston basketball like that probably, at least in my lifetime, maybe ever. Like, you guys, I think you guys were literally right there with Golden State, neck and neck, you know. Yes, you guys didn't have Kevin Durant, Clay, and Steph, you know, the big names, but with Chris Paul and Harden, I think, and all the other shooters you guys had around them, that was more than enough to take all the way, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I wanted it so bad because, you know, just, you only have 2 rings because Jordan wasn't there. Yeah. So
it's time to
be able to beat Kevin Durant, unstoppable Golden State team, and win it all, man, that would have been bragging rights for forever.
Forever. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? The NBA is a star-driven league. We know that. We know, hey, these stars get preferential treatment while on the court. They get calls. That's why they call them superstar calls. If what you said comes true and the Rockets are able to secure that first draft pick and get Cade Cunningham, he has the potential to become that guy. And it only takes one. Yeah. I mean, look at the Grizzlies with Ja Morant.
Yeah.
And he came out of nowhere. Nobody was watching Murray State, you know? Yeah. So it's a one-star thing that gets you there to the door. And then if you have a competent franchise, that's something I would like to ask you. Do you think the franchise is competent enough? Because I think Morey has done a really good job with the Philadelphia 76ers. Has he left a void to where, okay, because Vlad will tell you, when it comes to the Hawks and everything, there have been grave mistakes that have set the organization back 10 years. Do you think the organization itself is competent enough to keep building, first of all, to get someone like a Cade Cunningham and to build on top of that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Raphael Stone, that's the new GM. You know, he seems to be doing a good job. We getting all of this draft capital. So, like you said, we get that number one pick, and you get Kate Cunningham or Jalen Green.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? You know, with Christian Wood, like I said, I think we could be in that playing game next year, 9-10 slot. You never know.
I think so too.
Yeah.
True.
That's just best part of is having Christian Wood there. You know, you have someone who's a talent already established. So then getting in a young guy, putting them together, that pick and roll could be really, really deadly.
Yeah.
For sure. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll talk about a few things, and then we'll be right back. All right, we're back again. There are a couple of things that we want to talk about before we wrap this thing up. There's some really, really good conversation. I want to ask you, Chris, let's talk about what I personally think is one of the most, and you tell me if you think you feel the same way. I feel like this is the most dominant Houston team
Ever. No, in the state's history.
And I say that I say that kind of treading lightly because I know the Rockets had those dominant years, but man, they did back to back.
Back to back to back to back.
No, I'm saying Rockets did back to back.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
Rockets
right.
did back.
But the Comets did back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Never been done ever anywhere else. That's dominance.
Yeah.
Tell me how you feel about the Houston Comets. Were you able to watch them play, and the indomitable, the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, Cynthia Cooper. Tell me about them, man.
Oh yeah, man. That was a fun team. They got started when I was in middle school. So like I just said off mic, I was in the marching band.
What'd you play? I'm sorry to cut you.
Yeah, played trumpet too.
He played trumpet.
Yeah.
I was percussion.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so every time they won a championship, the 4 times in a row, we had to go out there during the parade downtown and play. So we would be right behind the little players on the float. So it was a pretty cool experience, man. But yeah, Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper. It was an
Dynasty,
exciting time, man. And
gosh.
Cheryl Swoops, you know, she missed the first year because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So people were wondering, you know, how would she come back and would she be the same? And she came back killing it, you know, MVP. And if these girls were playing, or women, I should say, if they were playing in this era, man, it would be crazy.
Yeah, because
better than Diana Taurasi.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. In my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because, I mean, you think of Cynthia Cooper was in her upper 30s. And
Averaging 30.
Yeah.
giving buckets. Reading about her story from her point of view is what really got me. All right, let me look into some YouTube highlights. Let me look into something. It wasn't a lot out there, but seeing her, how she dominated overseas and then came to WNBA and was like, yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, she coaches the Texas Southern University right down the street.
To this day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I do have a question, though. Is it true from what I've heard? I know you were young during that time, but I heard those games used to be just as packed as Rockets games, or even more packed. Is that true?
Come playoff time, it would be.
Okay.
Playoff time, it would be rocking like it was sold out, and the crowd was going crazy, man.
That's what Cynthia Cooper would do, raise the roof.
Yeah, raising roof. Oh yeah, you remember that?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I did my research for sure. Because
Yeah.
when you talk about 4 straight, you have to know about
And
that.
she was averaging 30 to 32 plus every year of those 4 straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a local rapper here named ESG. I don't know if y'all have heard of him, but kind of not with Swisher House, but around, always hung around him. But he has a line in one of his songs that's very popular. Is back to back, like the Comets.
I'm gonna check that out.
That's awesome, man.
Check that
I
out.
love hearing some regional talent and people really paying homage because these ladies are greatness. They were legends. They still are legends.
That's a
'Cause
fact.
when you talk to, this is how you know. When you talk to someone who's watched the WNBA for a long time and you mention them, there's a reverence that comes in the room.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you talk about Michael Jordan, you talk about Hakeem Olajuwon. When you talk about Tina Thompson, they're like, Tina, wow. Where would we be without Tina? You know, so
That's
it's
a fact.
really cool.
Yeah,
really cool to hear
if I'm
that.
not mistaken, I think she's still number 2 on the all-time scoring list. I
She
think so.
probably so. Yeah.
Yeah, because Diana is number 1 and she's number 2, if I'm correct. But yeah, it's sad that you guys are so excited about this, and now we don't even have a team.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Folded.
Houston, you guys need to get a team back to Houston ASAP.
Yeah, just bring the comments right back. I would
Exactly.
be.
That's what I'm
Those
saying.
jerseys was fire too.
Colorways
Because that's
was
when
dope,
they were coordinated at the
the
same time. The
Rockets,
pinstripes.
Yep.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, so whoever needs to be spoken to, you guys need to bring.
Hear this podcast. Come
You
on.
guys need to bring the Houston comments back to Houston
Somebody
ASAP.
called Jeff Bezos.
Facts.
Bring it to the team.
Buy that. Bring
That's
them
for
back.
sure. But let's go ahead and move on to our last segment of the show. Obviously, it is NBA playoffs time. So we just want to get your intake of what do you think about the first round so far? How you like the matchups? What do you think about the young guys showing up like Luka, John Morant, balling out in the first round?
And of course, before we go, we gotta get you to tell us who's going to win this year. But that's at the end. Go
Okay, I
ahead.
got it. John Morant, man, is a player that I really love. I've already watched him twice since he's come in.
In person?
Yeah, with
wow.
the MLK game when
Okay.
they came here. Yeah, I always said that he should go before Zion. You know that was my opinion.
That's a hot take.
So I'm
I agree.
really excited to see him doing his thing, making the playoffs. Luka is, oh my god, you know,
Yeah.
watching that man do what he do, man. And Trey, everybody likes to compare Trey and Luka, so it's good to see both of them in the playoffs and doing pretty well. I'm pretty disappointed in Julius Randle.
Really?
Yeah, man, his play has been horrible.
Abysmal.
Shout out to Nate McMillan with that defensive scheme with the Hawks.
Yeah. Who else, man? Nikola is doing good. You know, he didn't play that well today. I saw they got blown out, but I didn't get to catch
It's gonna be a
it.
tough series. I mean, not tough, but it's gonna be a really neck to neck series with that one,
Yeah, he
especially
lost
with
a second,
Jamal
you know.
Murray out.
Yeah, lost a second guy, so it'll be really tough for them. to
You know
get
who
that.
I'm really rooting for, and I'm glad to see that he's doing a little better is Ben Simmons. So I don't think they'll go all the way, but them going to the conference championship.
You don't think they can
maybe.
beat Brooklyn?
Oh no, I don't think they beat Brooklyn or Milwaukee.
You know what's crazy? I actually have Milwaukee winning. The whole thing. I
You're
have
crazy.
Milwaukee winning.
How much you
the
gonna put on
championship.
that?
I'm not putting none on it.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
So
but
y'all
it's-
both
No.
okay.
No. I have Brooklyn winning it all.
Okay.
However, Milwaukee is a dark horse.
Yep.
You know, they're kind of just floating under the radar.
and have been all season. The pressure is off Giannis.
What pressure? He just signed for 228.
Yeah, there's still pressure. You still have to produce.
That's
We
what I'm saying, how
gave
the
you-
pressure is off him.
Because I'm talking about national media.
Oh,
So
okay.
once because that's really all that matters. Milwaukee's not going to give you
They've
pressure.
kind of flown under the radar. This
Yeah,
year.
and they've blown out Brooklyn several times this year.
Yeah.
They have the highest offense in the league, and the defense, as you can see with my Miami Heat, not too shabby. They did lose Dante DiVincenzo, but I think they
Yeah.
can win it all. I couldn't to you, so bad.
But yeah, the playoffs have been really good, man. It's funny how we're in this prisoner of the moment social media age because everybody's ready to kill the Clippers and the series not over.
Right.
You
Yeah.
saw Dallas had the biggest crowd since COVID, and what happened? They lost.
They lost,
So
Things can turn around quick.
Yeah.
So, real quick, who do you have moving on to the next round out of all these matchups?
Brooklyn, of course.
Okay.
Atlanta. I thought the Knicks would win, but Atlanta looks like they're
Good choice,
the
good
better
choice.
team. I still think the Clippers will win. The Lakers, of course. Utah. Denver. I think Denver will pull it out. They'll gut it out. Philly, of course. And I hit all of them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got going to the finals and then winning it all.
The Lakers and Brooklyn, you know, and of course, I mean it's chalk, right? But well, technically not because they're the 7th seed, but I think Brooklyn will take it. Yeah, see,
I would like to see Milwaukee and the Lakers
I would too.
because
I don't.
of the storylines of, Giannis. You remember that time where it was some play that he made against the Lakers a couple seasons ago, and he did the gesture of putting a crown on his head, like I'm the king now, things like that, and that's very out of character for Giannis. He's not a big braggadocious guy. You know, he'll yell after a few dunks, but he's not that in your face type of guy. So to see that shows me that he's, even though the national pressure is off of him, he really still feels it and still understands, yo, this is my legacy. So I have to, now we got Drew, we got all these people on the team, I got to make something happen. So I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be LA, New York.
Knicks?
Not the Knicks.
Oh.
Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn Nets. I think that's what the NBA want. Obviously, it's going to be a great storyline. Two big cities. Obviously, the two players in the NBA, LeBron and KD, go at it once again.
All right, KD barbecue chicken if you're going against LeBron.
That is true.
On the defensive end, not offense.
Yeah, not offense. I think there's more at stake. Obviously, Kyrie has something to prove. Harden definitely has something to prove. We're getting the ring. And even Kevin Durant has something to prove. You know, can he win a championship outside of Golden State? And then, obviously, there's something at stake for LeBron, too. We all know. He's 2 rings away from Jordan. He's 1 ring away from tying with Magic. And obviously winning another back-to-back championship will obviously elevate his resume even more. So I think that will be the finals matchup that the NBA would want, but we will just have to wait and see. But for sure, I have LA and Brooklyn in the finals also.
And who do you have?
Chris putting the pressure.
My basketball mind wants to go logical and say, okay, obviously if you got Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Harden on one team, you just think automatically championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then my intuitive basketball and slightly biased basketball mind wants to say, don't bet against the king.
Right.
Especially if he continue the playoffs, I think he'll continue to get healthier. The only X factor is Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis has to stay on the goddamn floor. Stop falling all the goddamn time. But
have we reached that level of don't bet against Brady and don't bet against LeBron?
Yes,
we're there.
Yes.
Since
Since Miami.
Brady, yeah.
I don't think we're there with LeBron.
No, he has a losing record. So how can you say that?
We'll touch base on this on another day. But let me talk about the losing
Clubhouse on Monday, 7 p.m.
Let me talk about the losing record. The only one that everybody did not predict was the 2011 finals. All the other losses, it was predictable. 2007, there's no way that Cleveland team's being the Spurs.
Right.
That 2017 team with Kevin Durant's first year in Golden State, you're not beating that Golden State team.
Right.
2018 Cavaliers with LeBron and that JV team, you're not beating them. So, and I'll make a well. I don't want to make exception, but obviously Dwayne Wade was I'm not healthy going into that 2014 one.
Talking about the last year?
The last year.
Well, I can give insight on that. Anyone who was in the locker room knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah.
They were tired of each other. Ray Allen didn't talk to Spo for a year. The entire season.
I think they were tired of each other and they were just physically tired too.
Yeah.
4 straight finals.
Yeah.
The last 2 were very, very tough.
Yep.
Mentally, I think Miami was checked out.
Yeah, they were done.
From the beginning of the season. Yeah, which obviously is not an excuse, but Wade was on his last knees.
Yeah.
You know, and then little did we know, Chris Bosh also had a health condition, which we find out later on, which blew up. So, that one is, I guess you can put a little asterisk because, you know, Miami still should have pulled that one out. But most of the losses LeBron have, it's kind of like, okay, you look at it and you're like, well, yeah. What you kind of
excuse
it? Yeah, that's what I was hearing.
But you know, we leave that for another day, another episode. But I still, when it comes playoffs, maybe finals, but playoffs.
So you got the Lakers.
It's hard for me, because my only thing is this: I've seen what LeBron done with less. And I've seen LeBron, when he really wants to turn it on,
he does, yeah.
It's literally a light switch. He's all right, game over.
Yeah, that fadeaway jumper he's hitting,
and it's falling.
It's looking,
and
good.
Game 3 of that Phoenix Suns game, you know what really raised my eyebrow, and I said, all right, LeBron's ready for the playoffs now. It's not the performance. is when he yelled at KCP. I said, LeBron woke up. LeBron woke up. And then when he started toying with Jay Crowder, I said, y'all poked the bear. It's over now. Y'all poked the bear. So I've seen LeBron obviously in his totality, his whole career. And I've seen it too many times to know when it comes playoff time, he turns into a whole nother beast. And I don't care, 36. I don't care, sprained ankle. I don't know what he does. He literally just, it's a switch he turns on. And it, like he said,
It's called Zero Dark 30.
There you go. And it's scary. Scary good. So
I will say with Brooklyn, I think that they need to get some games in. You know, so
I agree.
I'm kind of glad Boston won that game last night. I feel like the more games they play, if they, you know, get a 6-game, 7-game series every round, I think they'll be ready for the finals. But the last thing they need to do is breeze through it.
yeah, I definitely agree, especially with the big three.
Is Milwaukee and Brooklyn on the same side of the bracket?
Yeah, that's the next round.
That's next round.
Oh, man. What a bad draw for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
If it was in the finals,
It's a tough road to the finals
yeah.
for them. Tough road. They got to play Miami, and then they got to play Brooklyn next series, and then whoever the winner of Philly and Atlanta.
Yeah.
So they might actually have to go Miami, Brooklyn, Philly to get to the finals.
Right. So my thing is, if Milwaukee does this and they win it all, we're gonna have
Giannis.
to have a conversation about Giannis. That's a great
Yeah.
run.
Yeah?
Yeah, that'll be a hell of a run. Definitely.
Yeah, we got, it would be, I'm not counting Miami. I know I'm a Heat fan, but I'm not counting that.
Get revenge.
No, you still have to count them, and I'm going to tell you why. Only because of what Miami did to them last year, and Miami was in the finals last
It
year.
was a good warm-up. It was a good
I'm not
appetizer.
saying, I don't care if it's a sweep. It's not a warm-up. Milwaukee did what Milwaukee did this year to Miami in the playoffs was we saw what you guys did in the we saw what you guys did to us in the playoffs last year. It looked like the second half of the season they made sure we gonna get you back.
Nah,
Yeah.
I'm not
We gonna
going
get you
that
there.
far. I'm not going far as to say like we welcome the challenge of Miami. Just it's the same way of like I'm on Heat Twitter all the time and we want the Bucks. I said you're an idiot. Okay, they're going to wipe us off the floor. We're a trash team this year. Period. And we've been that way from game one. These boys were not ready, right? That's not an excuse, but it's very, very... And then Bucks are a completely different team. One or two pieces changed it all. Not to go into a whole bunch of Miami Heat stuff, but it will be impressive to see that they took care of business. They used last season. And I think one of the things that's about Milwaukee that's kind of unfolding in front of our eyes, your guy, Coach Bud, is coaching his ass off.
He's always been a good coach.
Yeah, but he hasn't been this good of a coach.
We'll see next
when
series.
when it comes to adjustments, Coach Bud is not known for his adjustments. And to be able to see him put these pieces together so quick, albeit, Drew Holiday is a pretty easy piece of the puzzle to put in and get him to work. But he's been doing an amazing job.
I agree.
But yes, I agree with you, Chris. If Giannis and the Bucks are able to pull this off, we got to say, okay, this was one of the better runs that we've seen.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I don't think they pull it off, though. But it would be.
You got a green and white shirt on and you going against your boys?
They're not my boys. My boys are playing the Knicks right now. But, it's going to be hard for them to get through Brooklyn, especially Giannis can't shoot. But we have to wait and see. I mean, if Bud can make those adjustments, then it's definitely going to be a hell of a series. Probably go 7 games for sure.
Let it go on record. Vlad has the Lakers. I have the Bucks.
You got
and
the
Chris?
Bucks. Who you got?
Nets.
You got the Nets.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
Nets. All right.
Well, that's what we got for you guys this week. We definitely want to thank our good host here, H-Town Chris, for joining us in this week's episode all the way from Houston, Texas. Be sure, don't forget, this Monday, actually no, not this Monday, we're going to take a break because this is the holiday. We want to give you guys off. So next Monday, we will be back on Clubhouse again at 7 p.m. Discussing another hot take episode and a hot take. Following us and making sure you're subscribed and having the notification bell turned on for all future episodes to coming through in the future. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and again, thank you again for our guest this week, H-Town Chris, for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, Crash Crew. Until next time.